Mychal. I'm a sommelier, tarot card reader, and former ballerina.
Hi, I'm Suzanne. I am a writer, an author, and a podcaster, just like Michael.
Yes. And this is All the Woo, A to Z.
Metaphysical gifts.
Yes.
This is your holiday shopping extravaganza episode.
If you needed ideas, we're here for you, basically.
Yes.
As always, welcome to our non-judgmental table where we are just sharing our own personal experiences, and in this case, literally our own experiences.
Things that we have loved and would recommend.
Yes, and or want. Yes. And Suzanne laughs at me. This is seriously not a ploy to buy me gifts.
Just have a gift basket show up outside your door.
Yes.
With all the things.
Yes. But at the very least, we hope that you are entertained. So, beverages. We have something, each of us have something different in our glass today. So, Suzanne has just straight bubbles. So, for holiday season, obviously bubbles. And yes, I will take any opportunity to drink bubbles. So, there you go. And this one is made by Sokol Blosser. It's called Bluebird Cuvee, and it is absolutely delicious. And
very easy to drink.
yes, Suzanne just has that in her glass. I wanted to have a slightly more festive beverage, so I turned my bubbles into a cocktail very easily by adding Pama, which is a pomegranate liqueur. So it has a little bit of a red color in there, and just a little something.
Yeah,
something extra.
Just missing its little twig of holly.
Yes. So there you go. That's the holiday beverage.
And I think Sokol Blosser is also a great gift to take for a hostess present or a holiday gathering.
Yes. So people always want to know hostess gifts or host gifts, whatever. Bubbles is really kind of a fail safe.
You can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong, honestly, because even as somebody who's traditionally a red wine drinker, anything bubbles is typically, well, not anything bubbles, but bubbles in wine form is typically.
I have given people those little things that you can blow bubbles, but generally not for Christmas. It's more of a
probably not
summer gift.
And probably not like a seltzer or something.
Yeah,
this probably wouldn't work, but more like
ranch water.
Yeah, not the same. So, but it ends up being the exception to the rule for people who typically drink red wine and obviously white wine. And so it covers a lot of bases and is a good kind of catch-all. So this particular wine, to give you an idea of price point, is around that mid-20s. So very affordable for something. And then also for something in that price point, most people don't feel real bad about like doing what I did by adding something into it, mixing with it. So
yes. It goes both ways. You can turn it into red.
You can. Just like I did.
Just need the Pama.
Yes.
So what else would be on your list to give or to get?
Oh.
What would be some very concrete things or geological things?
So I'm going to take that as a lead-in. It's very, very subtle hint lead-in.
Almost like an avalanche.
So obviously you can give rocks, crystals, things of that nature. Whenever I've personally ever purchased, okay, so if you go back to that episode where we talk about rocks and crystals, one of the ways that we talk about finding the right ones for yourself is really just kind of go into the shop and look to see what stands out to you, right? And then that's actually the thing. Then you can read what its properties are and see if that's a good match for you.
But you use that technique for gifts too.
I use it for gifts as well. Yes. So example, for my brother last Christmas, I went in and was planning on getting him kind of a larger geode thing. Not huge, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it was right for him. So I went in asking to be drawn to the things that would be good for him. And then, so I kind of did the same exercise, but asking for him instead. And so what was really kind of neat is that I ended up finding in one of the shops a geode, like I thought, but that they actually had, it was cut in half, right, as they are, that they had both sides to it. So it was a snowflake crystal.
So almost like bookends?
Yes. Awesome. So snowflake quartz, sorry, is the name. It's beautiful and not outrageously expensive either, because some can get really pricey. And so I got them both, and I gifted one half to my brother and then I kept the other half for myself. So it was like a connection and a link
Mhm.
for the two of us. But I had him choose. I told him that
Yeah,
was going to be the case. And so I had him choose the half. So it was again the side that was correct for him that he was choosing that one. And so yes, that is our own little brother sister portal.
very cool.
Yeah.
And of course, do they still have fairies? They got rid of their fairies.
My brother?
Mhm.
Yes, but they have their fairy door outside, so they don't
Okay.
have to deal with it as much. But yes,
Thinking the portals for your fairies to go back and forth between the 2 houses.
they probably can do that. Yeah, so we have multiple portals. That was also the point of the fairy door too. I'm like, we each have our fairy door, so they can link us always.
There you go.
Yeah. I've also purchased crystals for other people for when they needed like protection help or just
Mhm.
help through rough time, that kind of thing. And when I've done that as well, I also gifted some sage and some Palo Santo
Mhm.
with a candle. So it was more like a package. So a
Mhm.
gift
An
of things.
experience.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing, and that way they didn't have to go, "I don't know, this is my first crystal. Where do I get Palo Santo? What do I do? What part do I set on fire?" Yeah.
Yeah, I've also heard one of the reasons why I purchased for that person as well is because they informed me that they had heard somewhere, which I have not heard this before, so that you shouldn't purchase sage for yourself because it's a holy item that it should be gifted to you. And I've never heard that before, but I'm sure listeners, maybe some of you have heard that. And if that's the case, that was another reason why I went ahead and just gifted that to that person because it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, you need it. So here you go.
All right.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to concrete items that I would give,
Yeah.
um, I actually have just started doing block therapy, which I have found to be incredibly helpful in releasing. Not only it's a process by which you take a block,
Hmm.
and you use it to release your fascia.
So does this block look like a block, like a yoga block?
It's made of wood and it
Hmm.
has rounded corners,
Okay.
so it's a block.
So, yes, sort of.
I mean, and they're great in all of their sort of intro videos and a lot of the things that are available
Hmm.
online. They're like, use a book, use a towel to learn how to do the practice to see before you invest in a
Invest
block.
in things, yes.
But yes, I love my block, but it's great at because all of our emotions are in our body, trapped in our fascia,
Yeah.
and so there are specific practices to release grief or to release anger. I'm
Hmm.
still looking for the one that releases fear, but that sort of thing. And I have found it to just be absolutely wonderful. So that would be, I think, of the things I have on my list, like the most solid
Yeah.
tool.
You could give it to somebody who's not necessarily a metaphysical person,
Right.
kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they have a membership that you can join and it has like its own um, all of these classes that you can take, or you can just buy packages outright, or you can just do all the stuff that's available for free
Hmm.
on the internet.
Yeah.
So
So if you purchase a session for somebody, is this a guided thing or is this like you're going to a practitioner, like a massage therapist?
it's a guided thing.
Okay.
So there's someone who's the creator is walking a subject through the process of doing it. So
Hmm.
you're doing it at the same time.
Okay.
But yeah, super cool. And for me, kind of crosses that boundary between the physical world that we live in and then all of the mental, emotional, metaphysical components out there.
So if you were to give this to somebody, especially if they were metaphysical or not, who would
Do you want
you?
to block Michael?
No, I don't think that my knee would appreciate the block right now, actually.
You have other parts of your body. But yes,
Sure. No, but I mean, what to give people an idea if nobody's necessarily coming to mind, like who would you see if you were to gift it to somebody as being the ideal person that you yourself would kind of gift it to?
I honestly think almost anybody would benefit from it.
Hmm.
Like if you have difficulty with any part of your body,
Yeah.
it can help. But on the emotional side, I did a grief class that was just so healing because it just really punched into exactly those emotions, like triggered
Mhm.
them. I didn't have to watch a bunch of episodes of Doctor Who or anything. I just started crying. And the release that came,
Yeah.
and then the extra space I had in my body after that
Mhm.
was really phenomenal. So I realize I'm not answering your question specifically, but I really would say almost
So
anybody.
so you would say somebody who's maybe been having some physical ailments, but then also people who have been going through it at work or wherever.
Yeah, and the thing is that it can be as easy as just sitting on it in a specific position while you're watching TV and just letting your fascia melt
Mhm.
and, doing the breathing that goes with it. Uh,
Does not sound creepy at all.
yeah, not trying to trigger her. Um, she tells you to breathe. But yeah, just giving yourself the space to let your body relax. And it's really good at putting you in a parasympathetic state,
Mhm.
which I think everybody could spend more time in.
Right.
So if it's just a tool to help you get there, then I think it's well worth it.
Mhm. Speaking of other 3D gifts,
Hmm.
I heard your bracelets.
Oh,
I didn't
yes.
I did not give these to her.
No, my bestie from college did, but Mantra Band, I love these.
Mhm.
Obviously, I put them on and I never took them off. I have some that were given to me, and so they have mantras on them.
Mhm.
I have the stainless steel version. They come in gold and rose gold, I think, but they have a great collection of mantras, everything from religious to metaphysical to, you go girl kind of thing in
Yes.
between. And then you can get custom ones.
Mhm.
So those are all things. And because these are stainless steel, I can go anywhere. Like I don't worry about them getting corroded with chlorine or
Yeah.
waterlogged or peeling off or anything like that.
And could be
Um,
good for somebody who has sensitivities to metals like myself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I love the jingling noises they make. It's just enough to feel just a little bit other. Um, so, and I'm looking at you and your beautiful necklace. So I'm
Yes.
sure something that you would recommend would be stone jewelry.
I mean, it's the easiest thing to do, quite honestly. And I
And those bracelets that we both have, what are those called? The stone bracelets, all the different,
oh, yeah, I don't even know what they're called, where it's just they're beaded, the
is it
entire
mala beads? No.
no, because I think there's like I don't know if that's a brand or whatever. But anyway, the 100% beaded bracelets that they have different stones and you can get them that the bracelets are themed or just like a single, like you can get just all rose quartz or something along those lines. So, but I have definitely gotten that kind of thing like for my mom before
Hmm.
because, very surprising. My mom was also into these things.
Yeah. Shocker.
So I think what kind of triggered you was my necklace that I'm wearing, which actually was a present from my mother.
Yeah, it was exactly.
And it's a lapis lazuli necklace. So yeah, you can get gifts that can kind of bridge the woo versus the non woo. I think that rocked or crystalled jewelry can also kind of bridge that
Absolutely.
gap pretty easily.
Because, yeah, it can be just a jewelry gift or it can be the meaning of the stone and what it serves.
Hmm.
And so, yeah. And I know that for a while I wore my bracelets backwards. So you're supposed to wear, I think, the outreach sort of initiating
Hmm.
stones on your right arm and then the receiving slash protective stones on your left arm. And I had
Yes.
that backwards.
Oh.
So fixed it.
Nailed it.
But yes, I've been eyeballing a couple going, I think I'm going to get like onyx and hematite. I
Hmm.
have some hematite necklaces, but yeah.
I have a I think they're called Pixius. They're an Asian bracelet, and it's typically has the little creature on top that's kind of like a dog slash dragon, and he goes out
Mm.
there and collects coins for you.
Oh,
And yes, so the one that I have has half onyx and then half calcite on
okay.
the other side, and it is if you get one of these, FYI, you're supposed to. This is very woo. So if you were to get this for somebody, you have to tell them how to do it correctly. Otherwise, it can work against them.
Okay.
So the way that you do it is when you wear it, the little creature has to be facing outward because same thing. He's going out, he's getting things, and he's bringing them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be for protection, but also for attracting good
Mm-hmm.
things. So when you take it off in your home and you rest it, you want to set it so that its face is facing towards your front door,
Okay.
not towards anything in your house. Because kind of same thing, like he's always on the job. So
Okay.
you don't want him taking anything from your house. You want
Got
him
it.
to go bring things from outside and bring it into your house that way.
I think I saw this in a Murakami
Yeah.
movie.
From what I understand, and if I'm sure anybody has anything else, that's my understanding. Like short version
Mm-hmm.
description of how you kind of utilize it. So I don't wear it at home. I literally when as soon as I get home, I take it off. It's by my front little table that's by my
Mm-hmm.
front door. That's where he hangs out. He has another buddy who's older and doesn't get worn, so he just hangs out by the front door all the time. So they're kind of like little pets.
Maybe slightly bitey pets, but yes.
Yes, they're like little pets. But yes.
So, since we've moved into the metaphysical,
Yes.
what are some of the metaphysical things that you would gift?
Readings, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have gotten intuitive healings also for people as gifts, depending on how
And
well I know
haven't
them.
you also given like computer generated medical
Yes.
readings?
So for people that I've known that have had difficulties recently or around the
Mm-hmm.
time with medical issues and maybe needed another layer of understanding, another layer of trying to figure out root causes and how they can integrate things into their life, I've asked their permission to get a medical astrology chart done for
Mm-hmm.
them or a health astrology chart. And the person that I go through for
We'll
those.
put all of this in the notes, y'all.
Yes. What's nice is that it's done in a written report form so
Mm-hmm.
that person can go back and reference it. The only downer is that you're not having somebody there giving like a personal interpretation to
Mm-hmm.
them, right? They have to kind of take the pieces of the puzzle and apply them
But that's
themselves.
where you come in.
I sometimes often will go through it
Mm-hmm.
really quickly with them and say, "Hey, these are the things that stood out to me
Mm-hmm.
for you that because it kept on being mentioned again and again." But that's also again, I had asked the person ahead of time that it went through me to
Mm-hmm.
get to them
Mm-hmm.
versus you may want to just buy the gift certificate for them, give them the link or whatever it is and have their email address or, however you want it.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that the information totally is theirs and it's private, just depending on your level of or their level of comfort with you knowing things about them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another reading that is absolutely phenomenal that we discovered this year is we found a great guy who does astrocartography.
Yes, Suzanne found him. He is amazing. I have gifted that reading as well.
I've taken advantage of that. I've passed him along. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure he's like, "Oh, yeah, another person from them." Okay.
Have one of those little
Because other people that I've known that I've told him about that they've booked readings with him, they thought he was so great that they also have given his information out to other people too for same thing.
yeah. So Michael and I were at a woo conference actually promoting all the woo
Mhm.
podcast, and we're sitting at the fancy dinner.
Mhm.
Actually, this was the Serious Joy First Unite the Light
Mhm.
thing. And so Michael is to my right, and she's in a deep conversation with whoever's on the other side. And there's a woman sitting next to me who's having a conversation with a woman on her other side.
Mhm.
And I just heard her say that she had an amazing astrocartography reading, and I just handed her my phone and said, "Put the number in." I wasn't even having a conversation with this person. I
Did she give you a
just
weird look? Was she just like,
grabbed this information out of the sky, and yeah,
He's been amazing.
he's been amazing. So amazing.
Yeah. He is the nicest. I will tell you, he's very, very nice. And he does a lot of other things. So if you want specifically an astrocartography reading from him, you should tell him that up front, because he will just do a regular, natal reading, whatever it is that you need based upon your level and comfort with
Solar
astrology.
return, all the things.
All the things, yes. Which, for if you want just a simple report thing, and when you get the written reports of what I had mentioned before, what's nice is that they're very affordable in their
Mhm.
price range, so that can also be nice. And I have also gifted people like a solar return report for them for the year or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the great things about having the reports
Hmm.
is I know the first time I got a report was before I'd ever had a reading. I barely understood the terminology. And to be able to go back to it as I was learning and
Hmm.
get better understanding, because sometimes I think, especially for first time, that an astrology reading can be a little overwhelming. It's
Yes.
just so much information.
Yeah.
And even if it's all, confirming and there's no like big shocks, but even all that confirmation is kind of shocking.
Yeah, a lot
Um,
of people who do astrology readings will either record them or something
yeah.
like that for you, because they themselves will say it's good for you to go back as time goes on and listen to it again. And because something may not have been relevant at the time, that ends up becoming relevant later on and means something new to you. You see it through fresh eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this astrologer we're talking about, he said, your natal chart is such a gift for your whole life.
Hmm.
And he's like, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years, something like that. And I will go and look at my own chart
Hmm.
that I've studied for decades
Yep.
and see something that I've never seen before and be like, how could I have not seen that? But that's kind of, you understand what you can understand when you
Hmm.
can understand it.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that, not that this conversation is about me and my astrology chart at all, but I was thinking about that for like my 12th heart 12th house,
Mhm.
that I have such, big planets that are in that house, and that one of them is almost directly on my ascendant by like a minute,
Mm, mhm,
and all of that, and how major that is. And I didn't really realize how major that is until like the
mhm,
last 2 years.
mhm.
And how so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, what does that mean then? Yeah.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
yes, and I would say I mean, obviously, we are going to say tarot cards, oracle cards.
yes. And again, pick those same way that you would do the rock kind of thing for somebody. Go out and try to see what speaks to you for them on their behalf.
Or do a gift card,
Yes.
because at least for me, the art and the writing is so important.
Hmm.
So, somebody who understands my taste or my style, maybe that could be a gift, but otherwise it would be a gift card.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And then I think that probably the cheapest price wise, but probably the most valuable gift I can think of is the $3.99 for a month at Serious Joy.
Yeah, that 3.99. I understand that they're having a special. I don't know how long it lasts, where the first 2 months are 3.99, and then it goes to normal price per month after that.
Okay.
But even at that, even if it's not for the first 2 months, the 3.99 applies for the first month.
And the regular price is 20 bucks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the access to all of the information that's there in addition to what you get on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And Serious Joy is not prompting us to do this at all. We just
Really
truly
not
are.
at all.
This is
Yeah.
part of our lifestyles.
Yeah. We
um,
even compare our text messages that we get to see, did we get similar ones? We see how it's different.
are
Yes.
we? So, yes, since we have in some ways very similar charts. Yeah, it's
Yes.
oftentimes like, oh, they only changed one word on mine.
Or that sometimes I'll get something completely different, and where we thought that it would have been similar, like, I don't know why mine's so different, but okay.
Sure.
Okay,
Why not?
great. Yeah,
So yeah, but I think that's a pretty sweet list of
yeah.
gifts.
Only other thing that I'm gonna add is to go on the other side of alien stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah, mostly books. But
Yes.
there's a lot of really good books out there right now. Whitley Strieber has written, he has quite a few anyway, but he has a couple of books that are recently
Mhm.
put out that are really well done. And then one book that Suzanne had recommended to me that I listened to is UFO of God by Chris Bledsoe.
Mhm.
Is a great, and then that's also an audiobook too, so it makes it real easy.
Yeah, and the audiobook is really well done. I was in the car for part of that.
Yes, you were.
Um, still have that open loop in back of my mind. But yes, and of course, with all of the recent congressional hearings and all of that stuff just
Mhm.
piling up,
Yes,
those books are going to multiply.
I'm sure they will become more in depth too.
Yeah,
Won't just yeah. The narrative might change a little bit,
yeah.
even, I would imagine.
We've known all the time. What?
Which
Yes.
so many books would say, depending, especially if you read
Mhm.
any of the ancient alien stuff, they definitely thought that they were here the whole time. They're just, yeah, yeah, of course. We've been telling you.
Which,
But,
as a committed Doctor Who fan,
mm-hmm,
also the same story.
mm-hmm.
We're going to find out that actually Doctor Who has been telling the truth the whole time.
It is the
It has
secret,
been metafiction.
yeah, metafiction. Okay, so what's our next episode going to be?
Our next episode is going to be,
Is it energy update?
yeah, I think we're going to be talking about us
Yeah,
and the world, like what's going on,
yeah.
and sort of, yeah, an update.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we are doing a Christmas Star episode, which I'm super excited about.
Yes.
And then I think our last episode of the year is going to be, in a weird way, calendars in terms of talking about timing and what's coming up and
Mm-hmm.
what we're going to be doing for 2025.
2025. 5 is the year. Yes. Although to be fair, it already feels like it's 2025.
We were truly looking at each other going, is it 5?
You're
Is
like
it
number
6? I
6,
don't.
7. I don't know. Is it 2030? I have no idea.
I can tell you what's, getting ready to happen in the sky, but yeah. So 2025. So we will see you next time on
All the woo.
A to Z.